Hello everyone, Cindy here with Monarch Mom DIY. So excited to be bringing you this compilation video of these 6 new Christmas projects from this past week. We're going to start with a ceiling fan blade, some greenery picks, a bell, a wood slice, some ribbon, some paint, and the first thing we're going to use is this blade from a ceiling fan that was given to me from a friend. You're going to want to remove all the hardware, as well as this particular one had these little I don't know, plugs kind of in the holes there. So we're going to take all that out. We're going to wipe it down, give it a good cleaning, because who knows where this has been for how long. We're going to clean it off. And I don't even know what material this is, some sort of man-made material. It is not real wood. It's kind of a plasticky wood, but we're going to clean that off. And then I'm going to take my mini sander here called a Gator, and I'm using 220 sandpaper. It's not super fine, but it's not super scratchy either. Just trying to get a little bit of that shiny finish off so that our paint will stick to our fan blade here. I am using Waverly chalk paint in the color Hazelnut for the first solid coat of paint on my fan blade. Now, this fan blade's already brown with some black streaks, so you could just make the reindeer without painting the fan blade if you'd like, but I'm painting mine. And then here I am taking a darker brown, which is called Truffle, and I'm going to use this chippy brush, and I'm going to speed this part up here in a second. I am going to just add some dimension to my reindeer here, just using these two colors. So I'm adding some truffle. Then you're going to see, oops, I got some bigger blobs there. So I'm going to dry this and I'm going to sand it a little bit. Then I'm going to come back in with the hazelnut paint again on that same chippy brush, add a little bit more of that light brown paint, and just keep working it with these two colors and my sander until I get the look that I'm going for. Again, take as little or as much time on this step as you see fit. Next, I'm going to use this wood slice here and my Waverly chalk paint in the color Crimson. We are going to paint the top side of our wood slice with red to be our reindeer's nose. Next, I'm going to take a few different ribbons and we are going to make a messy bow that we're going to add to the top of our reindeer fan blade. I'm using this burlap here. It is wired. I'm going to cut 4 pieces of this, but I want it to look a little more rustic. So I'm going to also take this red and black gingham. I'm cutting 6 pieces of this and making it a little bit shorter than the burlap pieces. Now coming back to the burlap, like I said, I want it to look a little more rustic, so I'm going to trim off the wired edges and then pull 2 or 3 of those strings from each of the sides just to make it look a little bit more frayed, like some rustic burlap. We're going to do this to all 4 of our burlap pieces. Once we have the frayed edges done, we're going to take each piece and fold each end in half and give it a little dovetail by cutting from the fold out to the edges. And again, we'll do this to all 4 of our pieces of burlap ribbon. Then coming to our 6 pieces of the gingham, this is a thinner ribbon, so I'm going to do 2 of these at a time. I'm folding them in half the same way we did with the burlap to give them that dovetailed edge. Next, I'm going to take this thinner cream colored ribbon with the tan stripe there. I'm just going to cut 2 pieces. These are going to go towards the top of our messy bow, and I'm just slanting the ends on these 2 pieces of ribbon. All right, so now I'm going to speed this up. I'm just going to show you how I'm going to overlap and crisscross my 4 burlap pieces. I did cut those top 2 a little bit shorter, and then I also saw I needed to trim my gingham ones shorter. I'm doing 6 of the gingham, just overlapping those 2 cream colored, and then I decided to take a little bit of raffia, and I'm just going to cut some pieces here and crisscross a few of those as well on top of our messy bow. Now we're going to take a piece of jute twine here and very carefully lay it across the top of all those X's while lifting it up and flipping it over. And then we're going to tie a knot as tight as we can while squishing all of our ribbons together. Pull, pull, pull as tight as you can. I'm going to double knot it on the back, and then I'm going to turn it over to the front and double knot it again. And then I'm going to double knot it again on the back. I just want to make sure I have this as tight as I possibly can get it. Once we have our knot done, we will then trim off the excess of the twine. Isn't this so cute? I love it. You can fluff out your bow pieces as much as you'd like. If anything needs to be trimmed, you can go ahead and do that at this point as well. Next, I have this rustic looking bell, I believe from Hobby Lobby. It came on a little string. It must have been an ornament. Actually, it might have been from Dollar General. But anyway, I untied the knot and then I'm tying it back around our bow. This is going to be easier than trying to glue the bell separately. So now the bell is attached to our bow. We're going to set that aside and come back to our fan blade. I want to make this decoration kind of where the neck of our reindeer would be. So I'm taking this other red ribbon and I'm just going to glue a strip of it across the bottom here, towards the bottom of our fan blade. Then I'm going to add a little more decoration to it by taking that same jute twine. We're going to wrap it a few times around and then tie it in the front with a knot and then a bow. Next, coming up to the top of our fan blade, I'm going to take these two greenery pieces from Walmart's Christmas section. These were 98 cents each. These are going to be a decorative way to do little antlers on our reindeer. I did glue them down and then I did glue a piece of ribbon over the stems there on the back just to keep them held down. Then we're going to glue our wood slice for the nose and then glue our messy bow with the bell right between those two antlers that we made using the Christmas greenery at the top of our reindeer. Now I wanted to add a little bit more color, dimension, interest to the nose. So I'm taking that truffle brown again and I'm going around the red nose and then we're going to sand it a little bit, put a little bit of paint in the center as well. Then to draw on the eyes and the mouth, I'm going to use these painters, paint markers that I get at Walmart. They are Elmer's brand. They have quite a few different colors and also different thicknesses of the tip. There's chisel tip all the way down to ultra fine. So you can see those black eyes up there are a little wet. I'm going to let those dry completely. And we're going to add also a little white streak to the nose here to make it look like it's shining. And then taking that same white, once the black is dry of the eyes, I'm just going to add some smaller white circles towards the top of those eyes. He's so, so cute. The last thing we need for our decor is I'm going to string about 20 of these wood beads. These are a bead garland from Walmart. It is 9 feet of beads for $2.48. You can't beat it. And they're already like a dark stained color. So I'm just putting 20 of these on a piece of jute twine. And then we're going to add these as a hanger to the top of our reindeer. And here is our finished fan blade reindeer. I think he's so cute. I can't wait to hear what you guys think of this project. Let me know in the comments what you think of it. Today we're making this adorable nativity candle holder using some of these nativity buttons from Hobby Lobby, one of these wood looking ceramic candle holders from Dollar Tree, some tea lights, some Velcro, some moss, some jute twine, and a battery powered candle. Now these are like all the rage this year because they look like wood, yet they are ceramic and $1.25 at Hobby Lobby. So if you find them, pick them up. Even if you cannot find these Hobby Lobby buttons, there are lots of little nativity figurines out there check your thrift stores. You can make this with a variety of different nativity scenes. So keep that in mind as you're watching this. Of course, I picked up these Hobby Lobby buttons as soon as they were out this year. Now, this project I'm making with all 3 sets, but as you'll see here in a minute, I think if you can at least just find Mary, Joseph, baby Jesus, maybe an angel or a star, this can be just as adorable. So now that I have all my pieces out, I'm going to take just a tiny bit of this moss. This one is from Walmart. Sometimes you can find it at Dollar Tree, but we're just going to tuck a little bit of that back inside there. I love how this candle holder looks like a cave, which is most likely what the stable was like where Mary and Joseph went to have baby Jesus. And so for those 3 figures, I am going to just glue them in standing up so I don't have to cut the shank off the back of the button. I'm using hot glue for the sake of this video, but if you want to make sure these stay permanently glued, you can use something like E6000. So I have baby Jesus there in the middle, and then I'm going to stand Joseph up there to the left. We will add Mary in to the right. See how cute that is, even with just those 3 figures. I love it. Now, it is a little dark in there, so my idea was to take a battery-powered tea light candle and somehow attach it to the roof or the ceiling on the inside of the ceramic holder. So I'm going to try attaching with some of these Velcro squares from Dollar Tree. I'm going to take one of the scratchy ones and one of the fuzzier ones and cut those off. We're going to attach those together and then have the stickers on the outside. It is a little too big for the bottom of the candle because I don't want it to cover up the switch. So we're going to put that onto the candle, and then I'm going to put some hot glue to help secure it up there to the top of the ceramic holder. So we're going to press it down really well. I'm going to let that sit for a minute while we add some more of the figures. Here is the donkey that also came in the pack with Mary and Joseph. Again, I don't need to cut off the shank because I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on his hind end and kind of tuck him down there in the corner. I mean, the stable, after all, was where the animals were, so we're going to put these animals inside the stable as well with our little Holy Family there. And the sheep I decided to put right there next to the manger. I thought that was so cute. All right, now let's pull our tea light out and see how we're doing. I'm also going to attach the piece of Velcro to the candle with some hot glue as well, so that the Velcro stays on the candle, stays on the top of the holder, and is easy to separate to turn the candle on and off. It would be really nice if you could find a tea light that had a timer on it so you could just turn it on, and I think they stay on for like, I don't know, a certain number of hours, and then they shut off for a certain number of hours. Then you don't have to take it in and out. Okay, I've decided here for my 2 shepherds and the other 2 sheep, I'm going to put them on the left. Now, when you cut the shank off some of these layered buttons, it will cause the pieces to separate. So just stick a little dot of hot glue between and it'll stay together. The wise men, I'm going to do the 3 wise men and one of the camels on the right hand side. So I'm just kind of going back and forth, cutting the shanks off of our buttons, putting a little hot glue on there, and attaching them kind of around the outside of the candle holder. Again, if you want to make sure these stay on permanently, use something like E6000. All right, we've almost got all of our little figures around the edges. Once we get our one little camel on there, it did come with 3, but I just didn't want to go all the way around the back side. So here's all of these pieces, super cute. Now, I'm going to use this angel that came with the shepherds. There is one that came with Mary and Joseph, but it's kind of like kneeling sideways, so I decided to use this one instead. We're going to glue this one right here at the top of our little opening to our stable. Next, I'm going to come to this battery-powered pillar candle. You could definitely use a glass one, whatever you want. I just had this one on hand. I am going to add this to the top of my candle holder, definitely optional. And I'm just going to wrap some jute twine around it a couple of times and then tie a bow. Okay, so once our bow is secured, I'm going to take a little bit of this Christmas greenery from Walmart and just trim it down so that I can tuck a little piece there behind the twine. Then I'm going to glue the star, the Bethlehem star, to the candle. That's because on the candle holder there wasn't really a place to put it above the angels, so I'm going to put it on the candle and then line that up so that it's right above the angel. And here is our finished nativity candle holder. I think it's so cute. I was only able to get one complete set of all 3 button sets. I do have some more that are just Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus, and so I will probably make some more of these just with less figures. We are making today these cute light bulb ornaments with this Light of Friendship poem. We're going to use some glitter, some mop and glow, and some ribbon and twine. So these, I was so surprised, were really easy to make. Now, some people say to make these with glass ornaments. I did use these plastic bulb ornaments that I got at Hobby Lobby last year. And you're just going to put a little bit of mop and glow into the ornament, and then you're going to kind of roll it around to coat the entire inside. And then once you feel like you've gotten it, you're going to put back into the bottle what is left over. And I just left it there for a second while I got my glitter ready. Now, these tiny little bottles of glitter, I probably could have just poured right into the ornament, but I used this cute tip where you cut a corner off of an envelope. I'm going to hold that corner shut right now while I put some glitter in the envelope, and then you're going to use the envelope as a little funnel to put the glitter into the ornament. I do have the ornament sitting in a little Dixie cup there just so it's not rolling around. And then you're just going to cover the hole and shake that up until the glitter completely covers the mop and glow. It's so easy to do, and these look amazing. Now, I did leave my ornaments open in the cup for a good 24 hours to make sure they were dried before I put the lids back on. Then I'm just going to take my envelope and I'm going to put the rest of my glitter back into the glitter container. So it really doesn't take a whole lot of mop and glow or a whole lot of glitter. I'm going to show you one more here using a different color of glitter and the same process, just removing the top of the ornament. I did drip some mop and glow on my table, but not very much. You should be able to squeeze some in there, just a tiny little bit, maybe a tablespoon or two. Roll it around like we did before to coat the inside, and then put the rest back into the container. Now, I was able to find mop and glow at Walmart, this big bottle for $5.97, I think, something like that. This is going to last me forever. And I know you can also use polyacrylic. I personally like the smell of mop and glow better than a polyacrylic. So here's some teal glitter. I'm going to put this in the envelope, and like before, we're going to put that into the ornament, cover the end, shake it around till we get it all evenly covered inside. Next, I am making my tags. Now, I found this Light of Friendship poem. There's a couple different ones out there. I liked this one the best. I will put links as I can in the description of this video. I was able to print 6 of these on a sheet of white cardstock, and then I am just backing them on some black cardstock. You can see there, trimming it, and then this is going to be my tag that's going to go on the outside of the package with these bulb ornaments. All right, so you can see I didn't put this on camera, but I did make a small white bow that I hot glued to the top of each of the ornaments just for some decoration. And now I'm taking some black and white baker's twine. This is what I'm going to use to make the hanger for each ornament. I wanted something that didn't have any color so that it would go with any of the colors of ornaments, and I wanted to use something other than jute twine. So black and white baker's twine is what it was. I'm just going to loop it through and then just make a simple knot and trim off the excess. So here's our tag with the poem. It does have a little circle there for you to punch. I'm going to use my Crocodile Big Bite and just punch that circle in all of my tags. Now, I don't remember how many came. I think the package of these bulb ornaments from Hobby Lobby had 12 in it because I think I used 3 last year. So I used the rest of my 9. I also know that Dollar Tree has large plastic ornaments in this shape. I'm going to see if I can find some of those because I think those would be really fun to offer. But I am going to have these in my craft show. I don't know if I'll make any more this year. We'll see how these 9 go. But I think they're really cute, and I am going to package them up, you'll see here in a minute, so that they're all ready to go to give as a gift. I have these bags that have the adhesive closure from clearbags.com. We are just going to cut off the adhesive strip, or you can just use simple clear plastic bags from Dollar Tree. But I'm going to put the ornament inside, trim off that adhesive part to make our bag a little bit shorter, and then we're just going to crinkle it, scrunch it up there at the top, and tie another piece of black and white twine around, which we will also tie the tag on with. And there's our cute little Light of Friendship ornament, all packaged up with the cute little tag. Here you can see the variety of colors I made using the glitter. I will also put a link to the glitter variety pack in the description of the video. We're going to make this beautiful wall tile Christmas tree. So we're going to use 2 of the wood Christmas tree shapes from Dollar Tree, some wood slices, a dowel, some paint, and a rub-on transfer. I had 2 options. I did go with the one from Magnolia Design Co. So when I'm using these wood shapes from Dollar Tree, I do usually like to purchase 2 of them and wood glue them together just to make a more solid piece that I'm going to work with. So I'm just going to put some wood glue between them, get them all lined up, and then I'm going to use a bunch of my little clamps here, my small ones and my big ones, until this is dried and completely flat. Once the tree is dry and I've removed all the clamps, I'm just going to give the front side here a coat of Ivory Waverly chalk paint. This ended up not really being a necessary step, but I went ahead and did it anyway. Also, if you are planning on selling this item, I would go ahead and paint the back side as well. But I'm just going to give it a quick coat of Ivory Waverly chalk paint, and then we're going to set that aside to dry. Then taking my wall tile, I'm just kind of visualizing how much of this I need to paint so that it's going to be able to cover the entire Christmas tree shape. So I'm using that same Ivory Waverly chalk paint on my brush, and I'm kind of swirling it so that I can get the paint in all those little nooks and crannies of this wall tile. You don't need to do the entire center there, as you see I did not do, because we will eventually be cutting that piece out. Next, while that is all drying, I am taking a couple of these wood slices from Dollar Tree. You can find them at other craft stores as well. I'm finding the two that are closest in size and shape. I know they're both round, but they're a little bit odd sometimes. So I'm going to wood glue two of these together just to make the stand for my tree a little bit thicker and more sturdy. Now you could use a candlestick for this next part. I decided to use this probably like 5-inch maybe piece of dowel that I had in my stash. I think it was from a kid's block set or something at one point. So I'm going to paint that with the ivory, and then I'm also going to paint the top of the wood slices with the ivory paint as well. Coming back to our tree now, I'm just going to sand it lightly with my 400 grit sandpaper and get it as smooth as possible. Now coming back to the wall tile, I'm going to take a baby wipe and our antique wax, and now I'm just going to give more of an antique look to this wall tile by using that antique wax over the ivory paint. And for some reason I did it on the tree as well, which was completely unnecessary because we were going to cover it up with the wall tile, but oh well. I did it anyway. All right, then I'm going to come and do some on the wood slice on the top. I'm also going to go ahead and go around the bark edges just to darken that up a little bit more. And then we will do the dowel as well. Once everything's dry, I'm going to put a cutting mat under my wall tile, and using my Fisker's fingertip knife here, I'm going to cut out that middle section of the wall tile. We're going to basically make like a little window in the middle of the wall tile. So be very careful with this. Take your time to go around that shape, and then you'll be able to pull that out of the center. Now you can see where that is going to line up on the tree, and I'm getting it centered so that I can then take a pencil and just trace lightly where that window is going to be on my tree. So I had a couple of options for my rub-on transfer. I really liked this Nativity one, but the cow's head was going to get cut off, so I decided to save that one for a different project. Instead, I'm going to use this Santa or St. Nicholas one from Magnolia Design Co. from my Monarch Mom DIY.com website. I'm going to trim it slightly, and then we're going to place this centered in that pencil drawn space that I made, getting the top of his hat right there at the top of the cutout. So we're going to lay this down once we've taken the backing off, and it is sticky, but we're going to burnish it down with our burnishing tool. And once we have it pressed down well enough, we'll be able to lift a corner, and the rub-on transfer will release from the plastic sheet on the front. There you go, just like that. Now on the right and the left, there's a couple little spots where the window is going to be exposed that wasn't covered originally by the rub-on transfer, so I put a couple tiny little pieces that I had cut off to fill that in. There you go. Isn't that so cute with that St. Nicholas peeking through our wall tile? Now I'm holding my tree centered on the wall tile because I'm going to flip it over, and now I'm going to take a Sharpie marker and trace around the outside of my Christmas tree so that I can cut the Christmas tree shape out of my wall tile. And here's what it's going to look like now that we have our tree shape cut out. We're just removing that backing. It's not sticky on the whole thing, just around the outside. Now I wanted to darken up some of the Christmas tree areas, especially around the opening, make it more of a focal point. So now I'm just taking some Tim Holtz Distressing Ink in Walnut Stain and going around that opening there. I will be adding some more later on around the edges and in random spots on the tree. But for now, I just wanted it kind of framing out the rub-on transfer image. Then taking my hot glue, I'm going to go a little bit at a time, line up my wall tile that we cut out and press it down gently. Be very careful with the hot glue because it will be hot through this plastic wall tile. So I'm just going a little bit at a time until we get the whole tree of the wall tile glued onto the wood tree. And here, like I said, I'm going to take more of that ink and just go around all of the edges of the tree, darkening it up, just giving it a little bit more of that rustic look. And then just coming in some random places in the middle of the tree as well. I love how the ink and the antique wax really brings out the detail of the wall tile. All right, so now it's time to get this put together. I'm just using hot glue. I'm going to glue the dowel to the center of the wood slices first of all, and then I'm going to take a couple of tumbling tower blocks. I'm just going to keep them unpainted. I feel like they blend in well enough with the project. I am going to glue one here on the front of the tree right at the base, and then one on the back in the exact same place, kind of in the middle of that trunk. This is going to give me more of a surface to put some glue on to then glue to the top of the dowel. Now that we have our tree put together, we're just going to add a little bit more for some decoration. The red in the rub-on transfer is more of this dark red. It's not like a bright red. So I had this last little bit of this ribbon. I believe it was from Hobby Lobby, even in the fall time a few years ago. I'm just going to do a crisscross simple bow here. I'm going to tie it in the center with a piece of jute twine. And then I'm going to trim the tails a little bit shorter, also dovetailing them. We're going to add this to our tree right at the base where the trunk of the tree meets the top of the dowel stand. Before I attach it to the tree though, I decided to take one of those pieces I had cut off and fold it over and just glue it around the center of the bow to cover up the jute twine and just make it look a little bit more like a finished bow. So we're just going to glue that all the way around and then trim off the excess before we put some glue on the back of it and glue it onto our tree. For my stash of Christmas florals, I had this little dark red poinsettia with some 3 leaves on it. I decided to add this to the top of my tree, not all the way at the top, but kind of instead of putting a star. Then just taking a couple more little pieces of pine greenery, I'm going to glue those above and below the bow. Of course, you can do as much or as little of this decorating as you like. I think the tree is really cute by itself. I'm kind of just trying to cover up where the tree is glued to the dowel. And here's our finished tree, our vintage Santa. I love the cream and brown with the dark red. We are going to make this beautiful stenciled glass trivet. So I am using these plain glass trivets from Dollar Tree and some of my Magnolia stencils and ink and some spray paint. So the back side of these is smooth. These are the cutting boards. They're called cutting boards, but really I find they're trivets. And we're going to stencil on the back side, which is smooth. Now, because we're stenciling on the back side, you can't do words with this method because they'll be backwards, but we're going to use this gorgeous floral piece that's kind of in the corner here. I'm just fuzzing my stencil so that I'm able to get it off of the glass. Now, as I flip this one over, this was the first one I did. I didn't know you could take those little plastic feet off. So do that first, and then that gives you a completely flat surface. But I'm just kind of making my stencil go around those little feet that are on the back side. So we're going to get our stencil positioned where we want it, and then we're going to start stenciling this with ink. The reason we're using ink is we are stenciling on glass, and we are then going to heat set this in the oven, which is when I realized I needed to remove the little plastic feet. So they just come off with a razor blade. But getting your stencil positioned here, I'm going to use a combination of the 5 ink colors that you see above. We've got, I believe it's peppermint, magnolia green, glittering copper, chocolate brown, and glittering red. So I'm going to speed this up a bit. You see I am using paintbrush squeegees to get in there. There's a lot of colors here that are going to go right next to each other. So I'm going to use these 5 colors with my different paintbrush squeegees to stencil this image on the back or the bottom of this glass trivet. That's kind of fun watching me stencil so fast. Anyway, now that we have all of our ink on, we're going to carefully peel back our stencil and look at how beautiful that is. I love this stencil so much. So now you're going to let this dry for 24 hours. Then we're going to heat set it in the oven after removing the little feet. Here are the directions. You can pause the video, you can screenshot this, and these are the basic directions for heat setting on glass. Once I've done that, I'm going to take this outside or in the garage, and I'm spraying on the side I stenciled. Okay, so I'm spraying still on the smooth back side so that the top of this is just the glass for you to put your hot dishes on, whatever you'd like. Now I'm just sticking those little feet back on so that this can stand up and not slide around on your table. Here is an up close look. So again, we are seeing the stencil and the white spray paint through the glass. I love this. And so I'm going to just start making a couple more. I did not do the heat setting or the spray painting, but I'm just speeding this up. I'm going to show you 3 more options using some of our other Christmas stencils. So with this one, I stenciled our snowflake pattern stencil with white ink. You can see that there. And then this is half of our Merry Christmas door hanger stencil. I'm going to use those same 2 greens, and I believe I'm going to use white for the snowflakes on this. And with the peel and reveal, we're going to move on to our final one. This is using the ornament pattern for the Deck the Halls door hanger stencil. I am going to fuzz this a few times and again line this up on the back side of our glass trivet or cutting board. I'm going to use the peppermint, the ruby red, and berry blue for the ornaments on this one. And then I'm going to use glittering gold for those little starbursts that are between the ornaments. And here's the peel and reveal of the ornaments. I think these are so beautiful. So because I hadn't spray painted them yet, I'm just putting some paper behind to show you the color that it will be painted. So the trees and the snowflakes, I'm going to spray paint red behind those. And the ornaments, I am going to spray paint white. We are going to use wood circles from Walmart, these mini treat containers from Dollar Tree, and a few embellishments. So I'm going to make 2 mini snowman hats. I have made snowman hats using coffee cans, using other repurposed cans, even using the larger version of this Dollar Tree treat container. So when I saw this 2-pack of small ones, I thought I needed to make some mini snowman hat treat containers, or these can simply be used as decoration. So I did spray paint all my pieces black. I did not spray the inside of the container, so you could still use it maybe with to give some treats. I would have them in a plastic bag or something inside just in case of the spray paint. But other than that, I am just going to decorate these up once we glue that container to the center of our wood circle. Those wood circles are from Walmart. And then the treat containers again are from Dollar Tree in their holiday, not decor, but in where all the plates and serving trays and things like that are for Christmas. So I'm going to glue that buffalo ribbon all the way around. And then I wasn't liking how the tops were looking after being spray painted, so I'm just going to go over them again with some Waverly chalk paint in the color ink just to even out the tops there. Next, I'm going to take this wired snowflake ribbon. I wanted to add a pop of red to my snowman hats, so I am just going to make a couple of small bows that I'm going to add to the decoration on my snowman hats. Next, I'm going to take some pieces of this greenery branch from Walmart. I love that this is 99 cents and I can get lots of little pieces off of it. And I'm also going to use some of these red berries. Now these I believe I got at a thrift store, but I know that Dollar Tree has some berries as well. I think they're frosted. They're pretty cute. Then just going back and forth between my 2 hats, I am going to take my time just adding some decoration pieces, some greenery, the bow, and some of the berries to add to these little snowman hats. These are really fun and simple to make. I just wanted to make some mini ones, like I said, with these small treat containers. I did not see these last year, so I thought they would make really cute little snowman hats. So once I had the base of some of the greenery on there, I decided to add the little bow. I did make them a little bit smaller than I originally showed, and I just love the pop of red with the snowflakes that these added to the decor here on these hats. Once the bows were on, I realized I needed a little bit more greenery on the other side. So I'm just adding small little pieces now to the right of the bow. And then once we have the greenery on there, I'm going to add a few of those red berries to each of my hats as well. And here's our 2 cute little mini snowman hats. I think these are so adorable. These would be a fun way to give a little gift to a friend and then they can use it as a decor piece. Let me know in the comments what you guys would use these for, if you'd use them for decor or to give gifts or both. Thanks so much for joining me tonight for this video. I would love to know in the comments which of these projects was your favorite, and here are some other video suggestions for your next watch. Take care.